Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking, you guessed it, action figure review. Today we're looking at a figure that I've had for quite a while. I got this at Ranger Stop and Pop a while back, almost a year ago at time of recording, but longer than a year ago for you guys, because, you know, whatever. But this is a very cool figure from Bandai, Japan. It is the Kamen Rider 01 Shining Assault Hopper Rider Kicks figure. Yes, I've had other Rider Kicks figures in the past. I've never sold any. I don't know why I said it like past tense. I still have all the ones I've ever gotten. But I really wanted this guy because, one, I saw him just available. And, you know, I could support a local business by buying him at the convention and stuff. An independent business is better than like Bezos or something. And I just love the looks of the riders in 01. I think they're some of my favorite rider designs. You gotta love them. I think they look pretty great. So I am happy to have our Shining Assault Hopper here. Pretty cool. You see, you got, I think that's the actual like suit, and then that's the figure. Pretty cool. So suit, figure. Nice. 25 bucks. Yeah. And that seems like a lot for a little guy. But remember, this is an import. This was at a time where Kamen Rider stuff wasn't really coming over yet. We're still not getting much in the way of Kamen Rider figures over here, but we are finally starting to get the shows on Blu-ray and stuff, which is nice. Hopefully this will start to become as present as like Godzilla and Ultraman are over here now. I'd really love that, because Kamen Rider is one of my favorite shows of all time. So yeah, that's enough of that. Let's bust this guy out of packaging. And here he is out of package, the Bandai Japan Rider Kicks figure, Kamen Rider 01010101 Shining Assault Hopper. Pretty cool. I like this guy. Yeah, they're tiny. Yeah, there's not a lot of paint on the back, but this is a child's action figure, so I understand the lack of paint on the back, but it costs like an adult collector price since it's imported, and things like this are just going to be more expensive as time goes on. I'm actually recording this like, what am I recording this, like April 3rd, 2025, tariff time, you know? So this stuff is right now, you know, just going up. Unfortunately. But yeah, he's got a lot of articulation. Side to side on the head. It doesn't really want to turn this direction though, which is odd. See, that's fine, and it gives me a lot of resistance going that way. But, you know, up and down, good wobble and everything. The arms come up because the shoulders are articulated as well. So it doesn't hinder as much as it normally would, and it actually comes out pretty far, all things considered. Nice 90-degree angle. Elbow bend right there. You got a rotation on the wrist. Nice, good bit of torso movement there. Thought he was broken for a sec, freaked me out. Okay. You also have the legs that go in and out forward, not much back because he has a hard plastic bussy instead of a rubber bussy covering like McFarlane and NECA do. Kind of get that for this little guy though. You have a knee bend that for a single joint actually goes pretty decently far, and then it's like a ball peg here on the foot, so you have a little ankle pivot, rotation, and a little up and down, but it could be better. So yeah, articulation is fine. Really the main drawback for these Rider Kicks figures I feel like is the size, because I have so many Kamen Rider figures that are bigger, but they are cool. If you like playability in a Kamen Rider figure, this is giving me a lot of resistance. This is a pretty good one, you know, if a kid wants to pose them up. Accessory wise, it's not that much. You see you have two holding hands here with nothing to hold. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine when you give a figure holding hands with nothing to hold. Now, if the hands are interchangeable, it's fine. If they're not interchangeable, that's like, why would you do that? But luckily, these are actually interchangeable hands. We have the other hands right here, and I've tossed them on him. Since he doesn't have anything to hold, these are the hands I will be displaying him with. No fist hand for punching, but with a rider, a kick's probably more important, right? A jump to the sky turns into a rider kick. He has this kind of pointing hand, this sort of count up your sins kind of hand. I know that's not what he says. I know that's double. You don't have to tell me. And then this kind of just cool open hand. You see? They're nice little hands. I actually appreciate that these Rider Kicks figures typically come with interchangeable hands. And now for everybody's favorite part, size comparisons. Yeah, so we have a lot of figures to compare him with today because I want to compare him with mini lines, including his own. And we always say here on the channel, if an action figure scales well with its own line, then it scales well. It's not obligated to scale well with other lines. But if it does, that's great. So first up, let's show him with another Rider Kicks figure. Here's the Rider Kicks figure, Kamen Rider Zeo, in kind of his base form. And also, another smaller kind of Kamen Rider figure. Here is the SIC Hibiki, the 3 3/4 inch version. Now, as you can see here, he scales great with Zeo, which I believe was the rider that was right before him, right? Last Neo Heisei, first Reiwa, I believe. It's actually kind of been a while, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. They look great together. Perfect. He scales well with his own line, and that's good enough. But if you're like me and you display multiple lines on a shelf together, he doesn't go super great with the 3 3/4 inch SIC figures, or sick figures. Yeah, this Hibiki's just much too small, unfortunately. So let's put them to the side, my friends, and kind of start going up in scale. There were well-articulated, or decently articulated, Kamen Rider figures before the Rider Kicks figure line. But the Rider Kicks figure line, the main thing it did was make them smaller, but also throw away the gimmick. A lot of figures had gimmicks like armor swaps, lights, etc. This one had the latter. It is the Wizard Action Please Kamen Rider Wizard Flame states, or whatever it's called. Yeah, so here's Kamen Rider Wizard in his base state too. This is kind of the old type of articulated action figure they used to do in this scale as well. He lit up. I have reviewed him, as well as the other two you just saw. They should have all been reviewed. If I haven't reviewed that Hibiki, let me know. But everyone else I'm pretty sure I've reviewed. I'm pretty sure I've reviewed Hibiki too. But, yeah, you know, Wizard's just a little tall. It doesn't work out. Not really. But in kind of the same scale, we have SH Figure Arts. So here is the SH Figure Arts Tamashii Nation's Bandai Kamen Rider Amazon Alpha from Kamen Rider Amazons, aka Amazon Riders here in the States. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. The scales, they're just getting too big. They're getting too big. Now we're gonna go even bigger. I'm sorry, okay? It's what we gotta do. First up, how about the Bandai Japan Movie Monster series with Kamen Rider Zero from Shin Kamen Rider. And really, in the same scale, we have gone full circle with the Rider Hero series, Kamen Rider Zeo, Forze Armor. Yeah, these are way too big. He looks like a child next to them. He looks 12. Max. No, it just doesn't work. Like, these kind of figures are usually cheaper. My cat is attacking my knee right now. I will play with you after this vid. Yes, I will. I have your toys right here. You want a toy? Woo! She doesn't want it, so we'll play after the vid. But yeah, he's gonna scale well with the Rider Kicks figure line, and as far as all the Kamen Rider lines I have go, that's pretty much all he's got. But who said we had to stop at Kamen Rider? Now, Kamen Rider has crossed over with other tokusatsu franchises many times in its history, and two of those are Super Sentai, which is kind of a regular thing, or at least it used to be, and Ultraman, which I think has happened once. So how about some figures from those franchises? Here is the Bandai Japan Poppy Magishine from Magiranger, and the Ultra Hero Orb series, Ultraman Orb Thunder Breaster from, you guessed it, Ultraman Orb. Now this is what I'm talking about. You see, whenever I show this Poppy Magishine in reviews, who I also got from Ranger Stop, I think the same year as him. He usually doesn't scale well with anything he goes with. But he scales well with Rider Kicks figures. That's actually great news. So there are Sentai figures out there that scale well with these newer Kamen Riders. And Ultraman Orb Thunder Breaster here is a giant. We all know it. But, you know, if you're a kid playing with toys, you might not even care that much about scaling. But if you want, like, some of your big tokusatsu heroes all standing together in a display, these Spark Doll scaled Ultramen kind of work with him. And, you know, other Spark Doll stuff will kind of work with him too. Let's actually move these guys. I wasn't planning on showing these, but I got them right here anyway, so I might as well. How about a Seijin and a Kaiju from the Ultra 500 series? Ultra Monster 500, blah, blah, blah. The Spark Doll scale. Here's the Seijin. Kimmer Seijin, whatever you want to call him. And here's a Kaiju, Zeragus. Look at the size of them. They could be Kamen Rider Kaijin. He could fight them at this size. Kimmerman can grow and shrink, so he could actually fight Kimmerman at that size. Zeragus would have to get much smaller to actually be Kaijin sized. But it could work. It could work. It's not like they've never shrunk, you know, Kaiju before. They did it for the Ultraman manga and anime, you know, so it could work. So he'll work with these Seijin for sure. So what are my final thoughts on the Rider Kicks figure Kamen Rider 01 Shining Assault Hopper from Bandai Japan? He's a cool figure. You know, I wish that he was a little cheaper. $25 is kind of a lot for a figure of this quality. A lot of that price just comes from the fact that he is imported. A weapon would have been cool, but he doesn't really need one. I like these hands a lot. I like the interchangeable hand options. Maybe since there is no weapon, they could have included an extra set of hands, you know? But all in all, he's a pretty cool figure. Yeah, there's no paint on the back, but he's painted pretty heavily on the front, not terribly much on the driver, but there is a lot of metallic on the blues and stuff. I think he looks good from the front, and that's how we're going to have him displayed anyway, right? He can do a good rider kick pose. He scales well with his own line. And it's not an adult collectible. So a lot of these shortcomings you can kind of wave away. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.